Welcome back to the World Gymnastics Championships. John Neighbor here, along with Bart Connor, and now joined by Kathy Johnson. We're ready for the women's event finals, where medals are awarded to the gymnasts who perform best on each single apparatus. The top 8 gymnasts in each event have qualified from the field of 100. Our first event, the uneven bars, and Lavinia Milosevic, the silver medalist or runner-up to Shannon Miller in the all-around competition, goes first.
In the all-around, during the broadcast, I mentioned how nervous she looked and that she wasn't swinging aggressively. She made another mistake right there, though it's hard to see. She left out an element that she did in the all-around competition as well. Nice release move. But I spoke to her coach, Bello, and he said the same thing. He couldn't believe how nervous she was on this event. Giant half pirouette. Here's her dismount, double front. Oh, she's in trouble now. She really did not swing that giant out over the low bar enough to get into the somersault and get enough rotation.
Such a disappointment because she was the second qualifier coming into these finals. She would have won a medal easily. She just completely under-rotated that dismount.
Already disappointed by her loss in the all-around competition, she now loses a chance for gold on uneven bars, but she still has 2 events to go. Coming up shortly will be Shannon Miller, who's already won 2 world all-around titles. Kathy, is it fair to say that on that basis she's the greatest American gymnast ever?
Without question, she's the most successful. And if she hadn't earned the respect of everyone at the Barcelona Olympics or at the World Championships last year, I think she probably has now. This was not an easy win for her. She was not considered by most to be the favorite because she was coming off some injuries and still struggling even in the workouts prior to the competition. She's in 3 out of the 4 event finals with an opportunity to defend her world title on the floor exercise. But I think her best chance will be on the balance beam, which has always been one of her best events, but she's never won a major competition.
Now, Miller's victory just edged the pre-event favorite, Lavinia Milosevic, who earned the silver medal for Romania. She's qualified here in all 4 events. American Dominique Dawes will try to come back from her disappointing 5th-place finish in the all-around. She's looking for medals in 3 events here. And Bart, what are her chances?
Well, the fact that Dominique was so terrific in the first 3 rounds in the all-around competition made it even that much more of a heartbreak when she fell on the vault. But if you remember back to 1993, she had a similar disappointment and then came back to win 2 silver medals in the individual event finals. She could do the same here today. She has really exciting routines. The crowd loves her. And maybe this time, finally, a gold is within the reach of Dominique Dawes.
And here's a teammate of Dominique Dawes, a 16-year-old from Cincinnati, Amanda Borden, who tied with Dawes in the qualifying rounds of the uneven bars.
Amanda has a wonderful opportunity here to possibly take home a medal from these World Championships. She has 2 huge release moves and a very difficult dismount to look forward to. Here comes the first one. Oh, no! She was swinging so aggressively, really trying to get that release move up in the air. This is disappointing. She really did have a chance for a medal here. Here's her other release move. That's the normal height we see from Amanda and the perfect distance from the bar. Here's the dismount, double front, difficult to land. Incredibly disappointing.
That's just too bad. She had all of the elements in that routine that could have won a medal. She's normally quite consistent.
You're so right, Bart. I've never seen Amanda make this mistake before. She doesn't get her legs up and over into the somersault to take her back into the bar to make the regrasp.
You know, it may look like she hurt herself on that landing, but the way she lands, it's a safe fall. It hurts her pride more than her body.
Borden gets a 9.050, and that brings up Dina Kochetkova from Russia. These are her first World Championships.
Dina has an excellent chance at a medal here to go along with the bronze medal in the all-around. Watch this combination. Full pirouette to a reverse heck, right to a layout summy down to the low bar.
So nice to see a complex transition down to the low bar and then back up to the high bar.
This really is the way uneven bars should be worked, going from bar to bar with unusual skills and a high level of difficulty. Double layout, great landing. That medal.
You can certainly see why Dina was the Russian all-around champion this year.
Let's take a look once again at the transitions from the low bar up to the high bar. A release move, an uprise. She comes from the handstand now, down and makes a transition, shoot with a half turn and catches right in a handstand on the low bar. Excellent technique. Here's a good example of how clean her form and body line is. Tight arch, legs together throughout, and rocks the landing on the layout double back.
And a great score, 9.850. That one's going to be hard to beat. When we return to the women's individual event finals, we'll see American Dominique Dawes trying to win her first World Championship gold medal and overcome the disappointment of her all-around performance. The development in the sport of gymnastics should be obvious when we look at this performance from 1952. But here at these World Championships, we saw history in the making when this young 14-year-old, Mo Huilan, did something on the bars we'd never seen before.
And John, much like the first triple axel in women's figure skating, Mo Huilan performed this move that was invented by Mitch Gaylord from the U.S. team for the first time in the World Championships, first time ever that a woman went for this move.
And as we anticipated the big move, we were also impressed even by these spectacular transitions. Here it comes. Sets it up with a front giant, front flip over the bar. Incredible.
What's amazing, then she continued on with a series of moves that stunned the audience. A complete mastery of the uneven bars.
Just for good measure, she adds another huge release move just prior to a big dismount. Double layout. Phenomenal performance.
Her routine in the all-around competition earned her marks that were higher than any gymnast in the contest.
Here's the Gaylord now. It's a 1 3/4 front over the bar to a regrasp. Beautifully done. Ironically, she missed a simple transitional move in the preliminaries and did not qualify for today's finals.
Though Mo did not qualify, her teammate Lo Lee did. Lo Lee at 5 feet is 9 inches taller than Mo.
I'm sure you're as disappointed as we are that you don't get to see Mo in the finals, but you will see her on the floor exercise. And Lo Lee can more than hold up her own here in the event finals on the uneven bars. Watch this right here. Full pirouette, front giant, jam into inverted giants. Right into a release move. One and a half turns right up on top of the bar into a reverse heck. Huge tricks, great transitions. Let's see if she can stick the landing. Hike open layout. Unbelievable. Phenomenal level of difficulty.
In addition to the high-flying release move, the judges require that the gymnast traverse the bars from the high to the low and then go back to the high at least 3 times. This is her transition down to the low bar and then back to the high bar. Her dismount was quite impressive. It's a pike open layout.
They're all given a start
Nice
value
technique.
of 10 points, according to the difficulty and bonus in the routine.
Bart, the judges tend to agree with you. Their mark's 9.912. That's the highest score we've seen at these World Championships, higher even than Mo's score in the all-around. Now it's Dominique Dawes trying for her first medal in these World Championships after the disappointment she had in the all-around competition. This is a good event for her.
In order to win a medal, Dominique will have to hit this routine perfectly. She doesn't have the level of difficulty of Lo Lee. This routine is exciting nonetheless. And here's the best part. 1 1/2 turn, right to a transition to the low bar in handstand. Nice back up rise. She needs a perfect landing. Full out. Beautiful.
Dominique Dawes of the USA.
This routine was so well done, and it was more than adequate for the all-around finals. However, in the event finals, there's a higher level of difficulty required, and she's just one skill of difficulty short of this routine being worth a 10-0, so she starts from a 9.9.
And you'll notice in this move here, it doesn't quite finish in the handstand. The transition to the low bar was quite good, but she needed to finish that 1.5 in the handstand.
This is the most spectacular part of the routine. The giant full pirouette. Now watch the dismount. It's a double back with the full twist on the second somersault. That's the highest level of difficulty, so that really helps her score.
So without any major mistakes, Dominique Dawes earns a 9.775 out of a possible 9.9, a good score that puts her in third place. Next up, Svetlana Horkina from Russia. She qualified third in this event in the preliminaries, and now she's going to try for her medal.
As you've seen with Dominique Dawes' score, it's really important for the gymnast to have plenty of difficulty, so their score starts from a 10. Starting off very nicely. This is the best part of her routine. 1.5 turn, back layout down to the bar. Now watch this. She just puts her feet right on the bar to transition up to the high bar. This is the weakest section of the routine. That's a nice release move. We used to see a lot in men's high bar, but notice the straddle up to handstand. That's not as strong as the others, but a full out on the dismount. It was still scored very, very well.
From Russia.
As we take a look at this dismount, keep in mind this is the same dismount we saw from Dominique Dawes, but the rest of the routine was much more difficult than from Dominique. I think that'll show in the score.
And Bart, her score is a 9.875. That's better than everyone in the contest except Lo Lee. Good enough for a silver medal, and it drops Dominique Dawes out of the bronze. The other American, Amanda Borden, finished 8th. When we come back, the all-around champion, Shannon Miller, will attempt to win another gold medal, this time on the balance beam. In her day, this might have been the cutting edge in the sport of gymnastics, but imagine how she might be doing with today's technical requirements. Welcome back to the women's event finals. Next event, the balance beam. And our first athlete will be America's superstar in the sport. For all her titles and championships, it's easy to forget that Shannon Miller is also a 17-year-old high school junior.
Give them what they want.
I haven't seen a lot of movies lately. Probably my favorite was Jurassic Park.
Lust and hate is the candy. If blood and love taste so sweet, then we give them what they want.
Dogs and cats. I have a golden retriever.
Hey, hey, give them what they want.
And that's something I feel real strongly about, is keeping kids off drugs. I'm trying to help kids because I think they can, I don't know, identify with me more than some adult.
Music from 10,000 Maniacs. And Shannon Miller. Coming up next, one of her favorite events, the balance beam. She won a silver in this at the Olympics in Barcelona, but has never won a world title. This event's important to her.
Shannon Miller's ability to concentrate and focus is really unmatched, and I think a lot of people mistake that look on her face for unhappiness. New mount for Shannon, a very difficult front tuck up to the balance beam, right into a jump. Gymnasts need a higher level of difficulty in the event finals. She's going to meet that with ease. Here's her most difficult tumbling pass. It's a back handspring to 2 layouts. Nicely done. Keep in mind how special this win could be for Shannon Miller. She has not won a major competition on this event. There's the Miller.
And remember, at last year's World Championship, she had a disastrous performance in the finals.
The most crucial part of the routine, the dismount and the landing. Full twisting double back. There it is.
And a smile out of Shannon Miller as she gets congratulatory hugs from Peggy Liddick, her beam coach.
This mount was outstanding. It combines an acrobatic element here, right, the front flip, right to a dance element. Fulfills a requirement. Impressive.
There are so many great beam performers in the finals. This could be what sets her apart from the rest.
Well, a great score from the judges. Look at that reaction, 9.875. Good marks on the beam. Our next athlete is Lilia Podkopayeva from the Ukraine, a republic which has produced many of the world's great gymnasts.
Lilia has so much style and panache, and she can even show it off on the balance beam. An event that takes so much concentration. Watch all the little intricacies. Pointed toes, straight legs, beautiful pike open, right down to the balance beam. Very solid. Watch this, head spin. Photographers must love this gymnast. She can't take a bad picture. At every split second of the routine, she's in perfect position. And no one points their toes better than Lilia. Here's the dismount. She's seen Shannon Miller stick. Oh, just a hop on the landing. That could be the difference. Shannon Miller really set the standards here, so everyone knows they must stick everything.
This is a unique little combination on the beam. She does a head turn, shows a little personality and a little style. It's not all that difficult, but the judges love it.
And this is very obvious to the judges. The same dismount Shannon did, but she took a hop.
Still, the marks from the officials, 9.737, a good score, but not enough to go past Shannon Miller.
Hey, that little head spin's tough on the hair, isn't it?
Next up, Oksana Fabrishnova from Russia. She was the 8th and final qualifier in this event.
One of the goals of a gymnast is to make gymnastics look so easy and effortless. And Oksana does just that. She's so elegant and graceful in this event. Yet she performs an incredible level of difficulty as well. Three layout step outs. A pass we'll see later from Dominique Dawes, and they both do it extremely well. Just a slight check on the landing. I point these out only because Shannon was so near perfect that these could make a difference. That catches you by surprise. It really does. And I've seen her do it before, and yet I'm still surprised every time she does it. All-important landing. Another full twisting double back, but a hop on the landing. It is so fascinating to watch the subtle corrections that gymnasts make. Watch her arms on these series of layouts, how she changes them in each one, to maintain her perfect position, and then she changed the landing as to not give away tenths of a point on a balance break. And here could be the difference. She hops backwards, and of course we've seen Shannon Miller stick that landing.
Her score, a 9.712, and that puts her into third place. Fabrichneva is 16 years old, yet only 4'9". To most, that's tiny, but not by gymnastics standards.
I guarantee that the first time you ever see a world-class female gymnast in person, you're going to think, I can't believe how tiny she is. Well, shorter kids tend to have more success in gymnastics because they have a physical and biomechanical advantage that allows them to learn skills more easily, while taller kids tend to drop out of the sport because it's a struggle for them. Well, just how small are we talking? According to the National Center for Health, the average 17-year-old girl in America is 5 feet 4 inches tall and 124 pounds. While the typical 17-year-old world-class gymnast is about 6 inches shorter than that and nearly 35 pounds lighter, about the average size of an 11 or 12-year-old. Now, to illustrate how being small is an advantage, this is 10-year-old Larissa Stewart. She's just under 4 feet tall and 48 pounds. Because she's small, she can swing these giants with a perfectly straight body, whereas a taller girl would have to bend her body or straddle her legs to clear the lower bar. Good job. Now, everyone knows that the balance beam is 4 inches wide. Well, Larissa's not even 8 inches wide. That and her low center of gravity gives her an advantage. It allows her to keep her balance better than a taller gymnast. So if you happen to be a short gymnast, well, be proud, because someday you just may stand taller than everyone else.
And look at this extreme flexibility.
Isn't this her new move now? Have we seen this one before?
Yes, this is a brand new move
Yeah.
for Olga. She presses down now, again showing her flexibility.
Wow.
You can see the strain and effort this requires.
She's not very determined, is she?
20 years later, Olga Korbut is teaching determination to young gymnasts in Atlanta. But now the determination on beam will be coming from Lavinia Milosevic from Romania. She's already won 2 medals in these championships. She is the defending champion in the individual event final of the balance beam.
Right before Lavinia saluted the judges, you could hear the audience yelling, "Go, Lavinia!" I really think a lot of people here are rooting for her because she has had some problems in the competition. There's the mount that's named after her. Very difficult. She was very nervous on this event during the all-around competition. And she bobbled on that in the all-around as well, but this was a bigger bobble. This is a great pass. We saw her teammate perform it in the finals as well. In a finals this strong, you can't make any mistakes. She's already made a mistake significant enough that she's out of the medal count.
Overall, this has been a very disappointing World Championship for her. Not performing as well as she wanted to in the all-around finals, disappointment on the bars, disappointment on the vault, and now here.
Unfortunately, her best work came in the preliminary rounds when she qualified for all event finals. Had she done that performance, the all-around competition would have been even closer.
Most people at these championships picked her to be a favorite in nearly every event.
Double back. She is so tough. Even with the mistake early in the routine, she stayed with it. I'm sure this mount gave her heart a little start. She was a bit off to the side, but she pulled it right back around.
What's difficult about the upcoming move, it's called a side somersault. If you notice, most moves are done straight down the length of the beam. On this one, she has to land completely sideways. It's very tough to do.
Well, that mistake is going to cost her. She earns a 9.675, and that's not good enough to win a medal. Another young lady who's looking for medal is Dominique Dawes, silver medalist on this apparatus at the World Championships last year. Had some disappointments, but this is one of her better events.
I don't think there's a doubt in anyone's mind here that Dominique would have been in the top 3 in the all-around had she just hit 2 good vaults. It was pure bad luck. She has an excellent chance at even a gold medal here. It all depends on the landings. 3 layouts in a row. As a gymnast, you love to see the tiny little corrections and alterations a gymnast makes. Completely undetectable by normal people, I should say, non-gymnastics people. Oh no. The judges will certainly detect that slight little check there. Very difficult jump. It's difficult enough to do any jump sideways on the beam where you're not actually looking at the balance beam, but to turn in the middle of it, even more so. Difficult tumbling sequence, 2 back handsprings, full twisting double back. Oh, boy, she fought for the landing. Those are the things that I mean. Gymnasts respect that in other athletes. She's so competitive. She's so well trained. And she knows what it takes to win.
She's now famous for this pass, flip-flop, layout, layout, layout. Right on.
And for this pass as well, 2 back handsprings, tumbles right down the balance beam as if she's on the floor, and then just quickly steps into her salute to the judge.
As if to say, what? I stuck it.
The judges give her a 9.65, not good enough for a medal. That puts her currently in 6th place. Next up, a 17-year-old from China, Xiao Ya. She's 4 feet 9 inches tall and 79 pounds. Our final performer on the beam.
It's really appropriate that she should go last. In my opinion, she's really the only gymnast that could challenge Shannon Miller if she's right on. This routine has everything. Watch this, split jump to front tuck. It has the best variety of difficulty. Beautiful choreography. It's probably the most perfect routine. So far, she is performing so well. Many of these elements slip by the untrained eye because she does them so easily. 2 layout step outs. Oh, no!
Hard to believe.
That is such a shame. I think most gymnastics fans hate to see a great gymnast make a mistake. Dismount, pike double back, a big step, but that didn't matter. The championship already went to Shannon Miller the instant she fell from the balance beam. This is not the first time we've seen a Chinese gymnast falter under pressure. They usually do the most beautiful work on the balance beam, but have trouble putting it all together at a major competition.
And the judges' marks will not be of value to Xiao. 9.212, nowhere near the medals, and as a result, Shannon Miller wins the long-awaited gold medal in a balance beam competition at a World Championships. You can just see the emotional impact dawning on her right now. The official results: Miller wins it, American Dominique Dawes in 6th place. Still to come, the women take to the floor exercise, that is. Surely these vaults seemed daring at the time, but today they'd be tame and unworthy of the field that's competing here at the World Gymnastics Championships in Australia. Earlier, our 8 finalists competed on the vault, and Gina Gojin from Romania proved victorious. Her 2 vaults scored identically, but this was her 2nd one in the competition.
The key to her winning the gold medal was the fact that she had 2 very strong vaults. This being the best, by virtue of its level of difficulty, perfect form and technique, and an awesome landing.
9.812 was the judges' score on both of her vaults, and so the average was more than enough points to win the event. As you can see by our final standings, American Shannon Miller finished 7th on the basis of a poor landing on her 2nd vault. So now the woman who placed 4th in the all-around and won the gold medal in the vault is going to lead off the rotation in the floor exercise.
You have to believe after winning the silver medal last year on this event, Gina would really like to improve that and win the gold here. Her routine is quite different than everyone else's here. Choreography is much springier, bouncier.
It's really more a typical Romanian style choreography, isn't it? Folk music, folk dancing.
Get used to seeing that pass because we're going to see a lot of variations of it. Front tumbling has been encouraged in the new code of points, so all the gymnasts are doing front with full twists. Very difficult dance pass. They're also being very stingy with bonus points on dance elements. They really want to see them performed perfectly to be given credit for. Nice finish, very difficult pass.
Nice routine for Gojian. She showed good combinations of front tumbling work, like here. The last flip is laid out with a full twist, well done. And outstanding back tumbling work, like this pass. A full twisting double back. Now watch her landing. She very cleverly steps back and does not step out of bounds.
Gojin's score, 9.762, and that sets a high standard for the other athletes to follow. Next up, a woman we've seen a great deal of in these championships, but never once on top of the awards platform, Lavinia Milosevic.
Lavinia began these world championships with such high hopes. She did so well in the preliminary rounds of competition, qualifying for all 4 event finals, that when she did not win the all-around, she became so disheartened. I think she hasn't recovered yet. And this is an event where she can really win the gold medal outright. She's got the most difficulty.
This is her last chance.
Double layout somersault. Off to a great start.
It's a very important tumbling pass coming up now. She struggled with it a little bit in the training sessions. Quite complicated.
Most important part is the 2.5 twist right here to a punch front. Well done.
That was the best she's done it all week long.
Olympic champion on this event. She'd love to add a world championship title. And with tumbling like this, it's very possible. Just as Shannon Miller set the standards on the balance beam, Milosevic has just set the standards here. Put a lot of pressure on the rest of the gymnasts.
Really terrific technique on the laid-out double back somersault and a perfect landing. This was the critical pass. The 2.5 twist right to the punch front. She controlled the landing and did not go out of bounds.
She showed the best variety of difficult skills in this routine. Watch this, a triple twist and a good landing, just a slight step off to the side.
Milosevic gets a 9.837 and goes by Gojjan for the lead. Next up, Dominique Dawes. This is her final opportunity for a medal of any color.
Even though I just said Milosevic placed a lot of pressure on the remaining gymnasts, this is the best place for Dominique to go immediately after her. The judges can make their decision. Watch this pass. Oh, no! 1/10 of a point for the step out of bounds, but there will also be a slight deduction for the big step as a technical error.
Such a disappointment. This is her last chance to get a medal here.
And it was her best chance. She has excited the world so many times on this event.
Oh, perfect landing on that tumbling move.
You can already see it on her face a little. All the difference in the world. Every other tumbling run was perfect. The landings could not have been better, and even the middle pass was done so well.
Dominique has performed that tumbling run so many times flawlessly. It's always so exciting. The audience loves it. And you'll see exactly what went wrong. Right there, she steps over to the right side, and she's not aiming right to the corner, so she doesn't have as much room to complete the pass, and she steps out of bounds.
She knows that those marks, 9.662, will not be enough to hold up throughout the competition. She's currently in third, but when we come back, the woman who's already earned 2 gold medals at these World Championships, Shannon Miller, performs her floor exercise routine. At these World Championships, Shannon Miller has already defended her World All-Around title. Now she'll try to defend her World Floor Exercise title.
She almost looks fragile. Like a porcelain figure, but look at the tumbling here. She shows power. A stumble back and out of bounds. She'll receive the same deduction that Dominique Dawes received.
She really is a very delicate dancer. A much different champion from the former greats from the States like Mary Lou Retton and Kim Zmeskal, who were powerhouses.
Here's the tumbling pass that she usually has to worry about. It's new for her. She has to be in the exact position out of the full twisting front. Right here to tumble. It's the best she's done it all week. perfect opportunity by Dominique Dawes, ironically, to step into the medal count, and unfortunately with that mistake, depending on how everyone else does in the competition, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I was talking with Steve Nuno before the competition. He said she's been struggling with shin splints, so she hasn't been able to train some of the tumbling moves, and she just overdid that tumbling pass a little bit. Many times when a gymnast is not as prepared as they want to be for a competition, they're afraid of underdoing something, so she pulled it around too far, overcompensating. This tumbling pass was very pretty. 1.5 twist through to a very elegant layout step down.
The judges give her a 9.687, enough to go past Dawes, but not enough to move into second place. Earlier, we promised you a routine by Mo Huilan. Now, here she is, 14 years of age. You're going to love the music, and she's got a lot of power.
We showed you earlier her uneven bar routine, her phenomenal uneven bar routine, even though she didn't qualify into the event finals. This is an even better opportunity to see her personality and her charm. She's only 14 years old. But it's amazing how well she has perfected her craft.
Adorable music.
Oh, a little stumble there. There are so many people who are excited about this gymnast because in 2 years, the Atlanta Olympics will begin, and she will be the perfect age, at the perfect point in her career to do exceptionally well. Oh, she ended with a very difficult tumbling pass, but stumbled backwards. What a shame.
Not to worry, because we're going to see a lot of her in the next couple of years. Reminds us when we first saw Olga Korbut, she impressed everyone with her acrobatic elements, but she also impressed everyone because she made little mistakes because she was so young. But she came back strong. Oh, a lot of power, that little dynamo.
It's so wonderful to see good technique, good basics at such an early age. Oh, and she just got back on her heels and unfortunately stepped out of bounds and stumbled backwards.
Well, perhaps Mo Huilan could use a little bit more seasoning. Her score puts her in 5th place here in Brisbane.
It was Olympic fever time in Sydney last September.
The winner is Sydney.
The crowd went wild, and so they should have. Sydney will host the year 2000 Olympics.
Back in the floor exercise, individual event finals, our next athlete is Elena Pishkun, a 16-year-old representing Belarus.
She was just out of the medals last year at the World Championships. She placed 4th. So there's probably an added incentive here, especially since Dominique Dawes, Shannon Miller, Mo, they've all stepped out of bounds and had significant deductions. There's room for her at the top. You get the feeling she knows it. She's going for every single landing perfectly. This is a gymnast with great power, not quite the artistic value that we see in Shannon Miller's routine or even in Milosevic.
She really hasn't had a great world championship either. She was 10th in the all-around. She could make up for that here, couldn't she?
Tumbling pass at the end was very sluggish, unusual for Piscoon. Normally she has so much power and so much reserve power that even at the end of the floor routine she's strong. That's going to hurt.
She sure nailed this opening tumbling run, as you said. Boom. You notice the gymnasts put chalk on the floor there, so sometimes the feet are sweaty and they slip, so they land in chalk, give them better grip.
Now let's see what happens. See, even in slow motion, I think you can see just slightly sluggish. Doesn't quite get a good punch off the ground on that second front handspring. Caused her to come up short.
Piscoon earns a 9.675 from the judges. That puts her in 4th place, leaving Shannon Miller still in the bronze medal position. Our next athlete, Dina Kochetkova, the Russian, has the last chance to knock Miller out of the medals.
A very exciting World Championships for this young gymnast. Bronze medalist in the all-around, bronze medal on the uneven bars. Double layout. She does not have a weak event. She's strong and powerful, yet at the same time, very elegant and pretty to watch.
She doesn't look like she'd be as powerful as she is.
Very hard pass, front with a full right into a layout front. Most of the gymnasts put a front handspring in between those two, which makes it a little bit easier.
Isn't it somewhat unusual you find a gymnast who's a lovely dancer as well as a really explosive tumbler at the same time?
It's a rare but wonderful find.
Like Mo Hui Lan, this is a young lady to keep an eye on. We'll be seeing a lot more of her in the next couple of years.
Very nice level of difficulty. Good landings. We'll have to see what the judges do. It's close.
That should bounce Shannon Miller out of the medal. Opening tumbling run was a laid-out double-back somersault. Really good technique. Plenty of height, and what's most important is excellent rotation.
Look at the form and every single element. Toes always pointed the instant they leave the ground. A strong finish, nice difficulty.
And so we await the judges' decree. They're there, the marks are there, 9.850, the score necessary to win the gold medal in the World Championships on floor. That also means that American Shannon Miller drops to 4th place and out of the medals. A great finish to the floor exercise competition. A very disappointed Lavinia Milicevic. A silver medal again, missing the gold here at these World Championships. So as we look at the results in the women's event final for the floor, Kochetkova for the gold, Miller in 4th place, and Dominique Dawes down in 6th. At last year's World Championships, Miller fell twice in the individual event beam, but here her performance was almost flawless, earning her the world title and gold medal on the beam. She's with Bart Connor now.
Shannon, for a long time, people thought you were the best gymnast in the world on the beam, but you weren't able to win a gold medal until today.
I was really happy to be able to redeem myself from last year and what happened, so I was just really happy. I worked really hard for it.
Were you thinking about what happened last year? Did that cross your mind?
It crossed my mind, but I was trying to think positive and just train my routines really hard.
Now, this was a rather up and down week, some major highs and lows here in Australia. Your total assessment of the competition?
I felt good about the competition. I tried a lot of new skills, and I made most of them except for the vault, so I felt really good about it.
You're going to go down as the greatest American gymnast in history. 5 Olympic medals, 5 gold medals in World Championship competition. You ever sit around sometimes and think about what that means?
I haven't had a lot of chance to just sit around and think about it yet. No, probably won't. I'll probably just look forward to the next competition.
Your folks didn't come along. You want to say something to them back home in Edmond, Oklahoma?
Oh, I just want to say hi and thanks for all their support.
96 is not that far away. Are we going to see Shannon Miller there?
I hope so. I'm going to try for it.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Be sure to join us Saturday on Wide World of Sports when we'll see if the king of gymnastics, Vitaly Sherba, can return to his winning ways after his failure to win gold in the all-around. For my partners Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson, I'm John Neighbor saying thanks for watching us here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. We'll leave you now with this Aboriginal performance of native Australian culture.